Mark Labbett has always been larger than life, in personality, in presence, and in the way he commands a room without even trying. Fans know him as the Beast, the quiz titan with razor-sharp wit and impossible trivia skills. But behind the booming confidence is a man people genuinely care about. Someone whose absence doesn't just get noticed, it gets felt. So when news broke that Mark had suddenly pulled out of a highly anticipated live appearance, the reaction was immediate. Shock, worry, and above all, a feeling that something important was missing from the upcoming event. Mark had been scheduled to take part in a special interview hosted by his former partner, Haley Palmer, a reunion audiences were buzzing about. Their past, their dynamic, their history, it all made the event uniquely intriguing. Fans weren't just expecting a conversation, they were expecting sparks, laughter, candid insights, and the kind of back and forth these two were always known for. But then the announcement came. Haley posted a message explaining that Mark would no longer be able to attend due to unforeseen circumstances. Her tone was warm but clear, and although she didn't go into detail, everyone could feel that the change wasn't made lightly. It wasn't the kind of cancellation that gets shrugged off. Fans had been excited. Ticket sales were strong, anticipation was growing, and the idea of Mark opening up about his life, both past and present, had captured people's imaginations. Haley's message gently acknowledged that disappointment. She said she knew how much people were looking forward to the interview, knew how special it was going to be, and knew how rare the opportunity was. But she also reassured everyone that their tickets would be refunded automatically and that her show would continue with a lineup of exciting guests. Her professionalism stood out, but what stood out even more was the reaction from fans. Many began sending messages of support almost instantly. People wished Mark well, expressed hope that he was taking care of himself, and reminded him, in their own funny, affectionate ways, that the Beast is allowed to take a break once in a while. Some even joked that he was probably dominating a quiz somewhere and lost track of time. Others teased that he was saving his best stories for an even bigger stage. But underneath the humor was genuine care. It's no secret that Mark has spent the past few years making big lifestyle changes. He's talked openly about adjusting his habits, managing his health, and learning how to balance a demanding career with personal well-being. He shared these updates not for attention, but to be real, relatable, and honest, qualities people admire him for just as much as his quizmaster brilliance. When he spoke recently about turning 60, his reflections surprised many. He talked about feeling grateful for where he is in life. He talked about perspective. He talked about what it means to grow older but stronger, wiser, and more aware of what matters. He joked that a touch of stiffness here and there is practically a badge of honor at his age, especially compared to what some of his more sports-obsessed friends deal with. And through all of it, the thing that came through most clearly was his determination, his sense of humor, his grounded outlook. He didn't hide challenges, he simply framed them as part of his ongoing journey, a journey fans have been cheering him on through for years. So when he stepped back from the upcoming event, people didn't just feel disappointed, they felt protective. It wasn't long before conversations online shifted from, "Why isn't he coming?" to, "We hope he's okay." From, "This is such a shame," to, "Take all the time you need." That transformation from curiosity to compassion is something only someone truly beloved can inspire. Haley's role in all this also added an unexpected layer to the story. Despite their past, she handled the situation with warmth. She looked back on their shared history with positivity and professionalism, and her message wasn't just an announcement. It was respectful, thoughtful, and even a little nostalgic. She didn't dwell on the cancellation. She didn't dramatize it. She simply showed care in her own way and encouraged fans to look forward to what comes next. And it worked. Within hours, people were already speculating about the rest of her guest lineup.
celebrating her sold-out shows and expressing excitement for future events, all while still keeping Mark in their thoughts. It created a rare moment in entertainment, a situation handled with grace on both sides and a fan base responding with empathy instead of frustration. Meanwhile, conversations about Mark's journey began resurfacing. People recalled interviews where he talked about the changes he'd made, the steps he'd taken, and the things he'd learned. They remembered the jokes he made about behaving like a grown-up, the self-deprecating comments he used to lighten serious topics, and the way he always managed to keep the mood upbeat even when discussing challenges. These memories didn't just make fans miss him more, they made them root for him harder. And the truth is, Mark has always had a rare ability to make people root for him. He may be intimidating on screen with his deep voice and unmatched trivia skills, but off-screen, he's warm, funny, thoughtful, and surprisingly down-to-earth. He's the kind of person who can make an entire room laugh even when he's trying not to. The kind of person who treats fans with genuine gratitude. The kind of person who doesn't hide the reality of life behind the glamour of television. That's why this moment matters. Because stepping back doesn't signal weakness, it signals wisdom. It signals knowing when to rest, when to regroup, when to take a breath. And fans understand that now more than ever. The disappointment is still there, naturally. People love seeing Mark in action. They love hearing him talk, seeing him compete, and watching him outsmart entire audiences with ease. Losing that chance stings a little. But what outweighs that feeling is the respect people have for him taking care of himself and making decisions that prioritize his long-term well-being. In fact, some fans turned the situation into something hopeful. They started imagining the moment Mark eventually steps back onto a stage. They pictured him walking out with a grin, maybe making a cheeky remark about keeping everyone waiting. They pictured the applause, the excitement, the energy, all louder and warmer because of the time he took away. And that image has become its own source of comfort. Because this isn't the end of anything. It's just a pause, a well-earned moment of stillness, a reminder that even the strongest minds and biggest personalities need to recharge. As the days pass, the messages continue to pour in, thoughtful, humorous, supportive, and full of admiration. Fans aren't demanding answers, they're not pushing for updates, they're simply wishing him well. And in a world where public figures are often expected to share everything, that patience and kindness stand out. Whether Mark returns next month, next year, or simply when the moment feels right, one thing is certain: the excitement will be waiting for him. The applause will be louder. The appreciation will be deeper. And the stories he chooses to share, whenever he's ready, will be cherished even more. For now, this pause in his public journey is a gentle reminder that strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like stepping back quietly, focusing inward, and giving life the space it needs to unfold naturally. And when the beast eventually roars again, the world will be listening.